guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Miss Tracy and I'm a Black History teacher for children ages 3 to 7. And today's lesson that I'm going to give you that you could use at home with your children, or if you have a daycare, you can use this lesson at your daycare. But we're going to talk about George Washington Carver. Now, to start the lesson about George Washington Carver, I always ask them if they know what a doctor is. And of course they know what a doctor is, but it gets them engaged in talking. So then I ask them if they know what a plant doctor is. And so that gets them to thinking about plants and what a plant doctor is. And I go on to say that we're going to learn about a plant doctor, George Washington Carver. Now, I never just have them sit and read. I don't read a story to them because of their short attention spans. I'm usually just giving the highlights of the person's life that we're doing for that day. So George Washington Carver, I always start by saying he grew up on a farm. He loved to draw. He loved art, but he really loved plants. Now, he went to college to learn about farming and soil and plants. And while he was in college, he received a letter from Booker T. Washington, who had a school called Tuskegee Institute. And Booker T. in that letter said, "I need your help." And so George Washington Carver said, "Okay, I'm coming." So George left school and went to Tuskegee Institute. The problem that they were having at the Tuskegee Institute was that the soil was dry because year after year after year, they planted cotton. So that gave George had to think. George is a scientist. So what scientists do? They think, they try to solve problems. So George had to think, how am I going to solve this problem? So he thought about it. Aha! I got it, he said. We're going to plant peanuts. So what peanuts do in the soil, it gives nutrients to the soil to help things grow. So this is the fun part that I try to go over with the kids. First they planted peanuts. Then they planted cotton. Then they planted sweet potatoes. Then they planted peanuts. Then they planted cotton. Then they planted sweet potatoes. So we'll do that over and over so they get what's called crop rotation. Tell them that peanuts grow underground, potatoes grow underground. So that gives the soil, it makes the soil nice and rich for other things to grow. So that was a big accomplishment for the students there at Tuskegee Institute. So they had another problem though. So after, with all of the peanuts and all of the sweet potatoes that they would plant every year, year after year, they had so many, so George had to figure out what to do with all the peanuts and all the sweet potatoes. So he thought about it and he thought about it. Aha! Let's make some things with the peanuts and sweet potatoes. So I stressed to them that George Washington Carver made over 300 products with the peanut, sweet potato, and soybeans. George Washington Carver was one of the greatest scientists of all time. These two books you can get, these are really good books about George Washington Carver. This first one is by Jean Beretta. I think that's how you pronounce the name. It's called The Secret Garden, George Washington Carver. That's really good. That's a really good book. And also this book by Peggy Thomas called George Washington Carver for Kids. And it has activities that you can do. But one of the activities that I like to do with this lesson is plant something. So you can give the students or your child a styrofoam cup, put soil in it and a seed, and talk about where's the best place to put it, what does a plant need to grow, and it's learning all about plants and also reinforcing the ideal of George Washington Carver and what he did. And it's just really a great lesson. So let me know in your comments below if you did the lesson and how it turned out. And I will see you with another lesson next time. Bye.